until you dig it up. And if it is on the pedestal, then it still doesn't give any info. Ice Roll on pedestal? Ugh. Either way, we will find out as Uncle is going to watch the mod tutorial. Not a bad idea. Mod that can be quite a tricky boss to defeat. As we get a sword.
Wow, what a nice start. So you know you're going to have 2 items going through escape. That's just fantastic.
Wow. That's...
What a great way to start.
Damn, in my previous race, there were the 10 bomb drop from Uncle in that chest. So
oh, man.
It's quite surprising to see another escape item as well.
Yeah, that's really convenient, especially if this drop is now 10 bombs. The racers are gonna be really happy with that. One of the few times you're happy to see a bomb drop, but it's the bow.
Arguably,
one of the most powerful starting items Uncle can get.
Definitely, which is even better than the sword, as it is the fastest of the escape items. And there's
the bombs. There we go.
We could use
our runners are just off to a great start.
Of course, the first about 6 or 7 minutes are going to be exactly the same, almost guaranteed, as our runners will have to complete the escape sequence, as this is a normal mode seed.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to take the standard route through escape and save Princess Zelda, just like in the standard vanilla game, but after that, it's off to the races. Who knows where we'll wind up?
It is going to be pretty much anyone's game. As we will see some of the NMT strats, as well as a vanilla map. Always interesting to see.
Yeah, Leslie obviously knows the NMG strats with that really nice spin slash to get that guard taken care of in one hit. Will having a little more trouble, but with the heart coming up under this next pot, he should be fine.
Yes, the Land of Hyrule with only 3 hearts can be pretty brutal. Thankfully, though, the enemies within the escape sequence do quite a surprisingly low amount of damage. Of course, it is the first area of the game, so Leslie with a nice door poke strat. Picked up another bomb in the meantime, so we'll be able to not only get all of the chests in the back of the escape sequence, but as well as full clear Kakariko village, as that does require 3 bombs, as Will also gets the bomb drop.
Yeah, that's really convenient timing on those bombs. It's not often you want to see bombs in chests, but in escape is one of the places for sure. It's just such a pain if you can't find bombs running through here. A little bit of love from Zelda.
Always nice, a little bit of thank you for coming to her rescue. Of course, within the randomizer, a lot of the text boxes have been omitted, so we don't get a telepathy message when we're dreaming about Zelda.
No, not anymore, but thanks to the developers for that. It really makes the seeds go faster. Humorously, they did add a lot of text boxes to some NPCs, so if you accidentally click them, such as revisiting Stumpy, you're going to be stuck there for 5 to 10 seconds at a time. Good little troll from them.
Yeah, as well as on Death Mountain, there is a bully kicking around a little pink ball, and you don't want to talk to that ball.
No, that's a long pause.
I believe the developers actually added more text boxes than there are in the original, just to rub it in that you talked to the wrong NPC.
So mean.
Either way, it is still a long ways away from us visiting Death Mountain, as we see Leslie making his way into the sewer section. Of course, did reach the throne room checkpoint, so if they happen to either die or run out of ammunition, they can save and quit to regain some of that, some of those arrows, which is, of course, a very nice safety net to have.
It's a super nice thing that devs added, just so you can't softlock anywhere. Granted, with the sword, it's less of a matter in this particular scene, but you can run out of arrows, and potentially soft lock, but now that the devs added that save and quit functionality, it's a lot easier to get through.
Definitely so.
To answer a question, chat, this was Bow from Uncle, and Sword was in Link's house.
Leslie coming up on the key rat. Of course, with that sword, it's going to be one single slash.
Yeah, they're not the strongest mice in the world.
Definitely not.
Oh, look at that.
Another bomb back.
Bomb from the rat, and that'll give him enough bombs now to open the race game as well, or mini molder and cave if he so chooses. And a big hunk of money in the back of the sewers here. Will help with getting the bottle vendor halfway to Zora money now.
That is true. Getting money early is definitely a very positive thing. There are a lot of things that require money, or rather, there is one thing that costs an extreme amount of money.
That is true.
By way of Zora.
Leslie getting out in 6 minutes flat. Really nice time for him. And Will just behind him. And a big bit of love from Zelda at the end. A little bit for starting to save her, and then a whole big heart for rescuing her completely. How kind.
I mean, Link doesn't get paid until the job's been finished.
A little bit up front and the rest of the payout at the end.
Definitely not a bad item to find, as 3 hearts can be eaten up by enemies very quickly, especially if we get the South Shallop with the green crabs doing a full 2 hearts of damage.
Yeah, those crabs are not nice in the early game, that's for sure.
10 arrow bomb pool, very, very nice to have. And the Hoarder holding 10 arrow bundles. Very nice, as we did find the bow.
Yeah, starting on bow, it looks like they're not going to have any arrow issues. The Lumberjack Cave just having 20 rupees, so... While the Aghanim Dream is not dead yet, it's certainly not currently a necessary thing to do.
It is looking a little grim for our friend Aghanim. Might have to wait until the very end of the game. Meanwhile, our runner's taking the quote-unquote standard routing as... wow.
Ooh. There's the lamp.
Suppose the forest is a little dark, so having a light to, or a lamp to light the way is always nice.
That it is. That it is.
Meanwhile, not much of anything found in the woods as of yet.
No, but the lamp does put Eastern Palace in logic with them having the bow start. I haven't had a map check yet, though, so we're not sure if that's going to be a necessary dungeon.
Yes, although at this point, being able to basically get all of the items, it is a bit more valuable, as well as with it being in logic, there could very well be an important progression item in that dark chest. But before we get to that, we have a lot of chests to check in the Kakariko area. Leslie making his way into the Blind's hideout. We'll be getting the 5 chests. Will following closely behind.
Yeah, there's 15 items in Kakariko Village, and then the 16th if one of those is the bottle, if my math is right. Oh, and there's the power gloves. That's always nice to find. That's 1/3 of the way to our Dark World access. Looking for the Moon Pearl and a hammer. And there's a bottle for Sick Kid. Always nice to find a bottle before you leave Kakariko the first time. You don't have to worry about coming back to make sure the Sick Kid gets his health potion.
Definitely one of the nice items to get in the Kakariko Village.
Yeah, I think the only thing better is to be the flute. Nothing better than finding that on your first go through.
Buying it from the bottle vendor, being right there. Meanwhile, a lot of money that the seed is giving them, so...
A lot of 20s.
There are quite a lot in the game, I believe. About 22?
I don't know the exact number, but I know it's around there, yeah.
20 20s. We'll go with that. Actually, buy a little piece of love from the bottle vendor. Not sure if that was worth the 100 rupees, but...
No, bottle vendor not necessarily paying off. Leslie missing the chicken clip.
And
just
showing a nice little hidden cocoa. There are a couple of hidden cocos throughout the Kakariko area. One is in the Bomba Hut, and one is also in the back of the tavern.
There's one in the back of tavern?
Yes, on the other pot.
Oh, hilarious.
That nobody ever picks up. Except me. Because I like it. Because I love animals, you know?
Oh, for sure. You gotta free the birds. Another 20 pickup. Kakariko really throwing them a lot of 20s. That's 5 or 6.
Yeah, we are almost halfway through all of our 20s for the game. That's
definitely getting
both opting to buy some extra bombs, of course, with the amount of money. Definitely not a bad choice.
There's our first map check. Looks like Desert is the red pendant, but Eastern and Hera, both crystals.
That is true, and with that, we find Cane of Burner on the library, because we will need the boots for those.
Yeah, it's looking like a boot C. That's, oh, sorry, it's Cane of Burner, not Cane of Samaria. So, not sure anyone will come back for those.
Definitely a nice item to have, but not necessarily required, as we see both of our runners choosing to take the gamble and go directly to the race game. Only... Is that vanilla piece of heart?
It is, yeah.
I have not played the normal game for so long.
Yeah, I'm quite positive it's a small bit of heart. Both of them are opting to just say goodbye. Looks like Leslie's progressing down South Shore and Will's following the same. A lot of lucrative item drops down here. With the way V29 is seated, a lot of these so-called Sphere 1 items, or items you can pick up without requiring any other items, namely all of the South Shore, have about a 16% chance to have progression in every single spot, so it's definitely worth checking, knocking out as many as you can right away.
And even more money. Wow.
Cash on cash. Just a little less than 100 rupees to go for that Zora cash.
Definitely. Now we will have the mini Moldon cave check, and we'll just have to see if we can reach that 500 mark just from within the mini Moldon cave.
It'll certainly be interesting to see. Without a sequence break. Oh, that's not true. Zora's in logic currently with the mitts. But outrunners could sequence break their way up there with some fake flippers right now rather than taking the long walking path.
Yeah, I doubt that I have ever seen within the randomizer that someone walked up to Zora as opposed to using
a long walk.
Report. As we have the Love Cave.
Holy hearts, Batman. That was 2 full hearts, 2 half hearts.
My. That is quite a nice setup for the Dark World, as the Dark World does do a lot of damage.
Definitely. Even for the little trek to Ice Rod with all these crabs chunking for 2 hearts a hit, they hurt early with green armor.
Oh. A little race on the crab there.
And the crab coming out on top, just barely.
Of course, a little bit cheating. The crab has a lot more legs. And they're also designed to walk sideways.
Yeah, if it was an up and down race, I think Link would have taken that one for sure. And there's the boots!
Now, I'm not quite sure who'd win in this situation then.
Yeah, now I think Link's got a bit of an edge. That'll really speed this seed up.
And thankfully so, one of the more useful speed items in the game, allowing runners to traverse the world at 4 pixels.
Yes, as opposed to the 1.5, so a little more than doubles your speed. Very convenient to find, especially early.
And with all of that out of the way, it does look like our progression is either going to be in the Eastern Palace area or Death Mountain, as with the acquisition of the Glove and Lamp, it is in logic to go up the mountain, as Palace of Darkness has the green pendant.
Yeah, that's never fun. If there's something in there, I'm assuming runners are going to want to try to avoid it for as long as possible. But Sasrahala, you're holding the Master Sword, always nice to find. Big upgrade over the Fighter's Sword. It doubles the damage, and as importantly, really extends the reach of that sword, adding a few pixels to its length and width.
That is true. Bit ironic, as Sasha is the one to be all like, I have not seen the Master Sword, or something along those lines. I haven't played the original game in a while, as I've said. Either way, we're not here to talk about Zelda lore because even Nintendo doesn't know what to do with it, as Leslie is making its way into the Eastern Palace. Of course, with the boots, a little bit of a non-standard. Definitely a lot of long hallways to charge across. So boots for Eastern Palace is definitely one of the better items to have.
Absolutely, yeah. And, it'll make routing through here nice and quick, other than this little cannonball room. These cannonballs are random. Just as most everything in this game. You never know where they're going to come from.
Yes, there are still a couple of RNG elements, even though with the randomizer, some have been omitted, such as within the Aghanim fight, there is a random chance that the attacks will either be a blue ball, which cannot be reflected, or an energy ball, which you'll have to reflect in order to defeat it. Though we may not see that for quite some times, but little things like that have been set in stone once the seed is generated. Of course, in order to keep the fun in the game, things such as the landowner cycles and the cannonballs have been kept in their RNG heavy states, just for fun.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun if got rid of all the randomness. Leslie with a nice quick kill in that skeleton room. There's actually 4 skeletons in spawn, but if you kill the first 2 before you see them, then it prevents the other 2 from spawning, and you can just open the door and leave. Now, with that being mapped, it means there's the chest on the right side here will contain an item, as well as the last item being Armos himself.
Yes, and considering that this is a crystal dungeon, our runners will make the trip all the way to the Armos mats. Our 2 runners here, barring in the same room, have pretty much been forced to take the exact same routing.
Yeah, I think so far both coming into Eastern Palace was the right idea. It's definitely where the seed was pointing, and there's a mirror. Now, without Dark World access, it's not going to do a ton, but it will let the runners get into Tower of Hera. If they so choose to climb the mountain.
Yes, although there are only 2 items in the Tower of Hera, and with Death Mountain access, you only have access to 2 more items. But looking at what we've found so far, that does look like it is going to be the only option once our runners are done here in the Eastern Palace.
Yeah, the only other item I can think of that will be accessible right now is Zora himself and Agina's cave over in Desert, but both of those are really out of the way for single item checks. Oh, that's not true. There's also the bonk rocks now that we've got boots. And the library Burnicane. There's Leslie starting the Armos Knights fight. Interesting setup here. Start at the bottom left.
Usually you will see runners go for the top right spot, as Will is going to show us for the NMG kill on the Armos Knights. Of course,
Really nice.
Putting 2 arrows within the first one to instantly kill him once he comes back around to prevent the Armos from healing in his last phase. But regardless, Will and Leslie both equally skilled take down the Armos Knights for their first crystal already at 20 minutes.
Very nice fight from both runners. Oh, looks like Leslie's heading up the mountain.
Definitely, 4 items is a better chance of finding something good than going out of your way. Does make a little pit stop, as it is right nearby. But other than that, unless this has an important item.
Yep, 4 items just turned into a whole bunch.
Yes,
and it gives access to an additional 7.
Yes, with that hook shot, that does give us access to the eastern part of Death Mountain. So that will warrant an even bigger visit to the mountain.
Wow, that is just a really convenient place for that to be.
The only more high place I could imagine hookshot to be would be the old man's reward.
Yep. Now you'll see both runners just walking with the old man. Unfortunately, running doesn't increase your speed with him. In fact, I believe it slows you down a little bit. Poor guy.
I believe that is true. One little technique that you can use is if you bonk off of a wall, the speed that a bonking link traverses at is faster than walking.
Oh, that's a good little tip. Maybe if you bonk right towards the end there, get a little bounce.
Although not very useful, as it will save very minimal time.
Absolutely.
As we do get paid for our services, another red rupee to add to the collection.
At top of Spectacle Rock here, I believe it was just 50 rupees, and then inside is a little bit of love.
Oddly vanilla as well.
Oh, it was 300 rupees on top. I missed that.
Ooh.
Here's a Death Mountain check.
I believe red crystals at Myron Turtle Rock. The green pendant at Palace of Darkness, which you already knew.
Yes, and then blue pendant was Ice Palace.
Ice. Yes, now that does give us the entire layout of what the seed will require from us. Ooh, smoky in the basement. Never a good sign.
No, you don't like to see that. 50-50 shot now that we're going to have to take a coffee break. Not yet. Big key in a real convenient spot. They can avoid the basement for now. And it looks like Leslie is going to climb. Searching for those 2 items quickly.
Definitely finding out that either the compass or the map is in the basement chest is very invaluable, as it does take quite some time for runners to reach a single chest.
Yep, 23 minutes in, and both runners are just following each other so far. Not a whole ton of divergence, but it's been relatively straightforward as to now. There's our first item, a little bit of love. And there's the second. The big cane of Samaria on the big chest. That's a huge find. That'll be a lot of stress off of their backs now that opening Mr. Myra and Turtle Rock.
Very true, although it will be quite some time. Wow, Leslie, a bit rude. The highlight beat into the whole head. Of course, it will be quite some time before we for we will see either of those two dungeons, but definitely want to get the important items out of the way sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's definitely a later game item, but it's one of those ones that can be pretty trolly.
Talking of trolly, luckily Mulder isn't, as Leslie swiftly takes care. Oh god, Will
stays on.
Oh! Has to.
Oh, Will!
Unfortunately, gets a little bit too close to that hitbox. Has to start the fight over again, which will heal the boss back up to full health. And this is why we call him Troll.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It takes 3 spin slashes with the Master Sword to knock him off. And by knock him off, I mean kill him. You don't want to get knocked off. Good little dodge there. Oh!
Ooh.
Oh no!
Oh, in the same spot as well. That has got to hurt. Now, Will did not flip the switch back in order to have access to the double row of pots, which all do contain hearts, so...
Alright, 3rd time's the charm, while Leslie checks East Side Death Mountain for a single rupee and a green potion.
A lot of green in the Paragraph Cave so far. We'll be heading upstairs for an additional 5. As well as
there we go.
Triplet of mini Mulderms. As Will does eventually take care of the big Mulderm, as we find the flippers.
Ooh, and
another
tempered.
sword!
Woohoo!
Can we get butter? Nah, it's not meant to be.
Not yet.
But with that, pretty much Zora will be the next play, as Leslie will most likely visit the Spiral Cave as well as see what is on the floating island.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lake Hylia area plus Zora's domain is looking like the next big check, and we just got bombs on floating islands, so nothing too crazy up there. But both runners now got to be getting a little bit worried, not finding Moon Pearl yet, not finding Hammer or second gloves. That Aghanim's got to be creeping in their minds at this point.
Yeah, usually Dark World access does come pretty fast, but we have had some other very fast items to seed, so nothing to complain about, of course.
And there's Butter!
Death Mountain holding everything right now.
Wow. That's a really quick maximum sword upgrade.
Wow, Green Mail, not even a second row of hearts, and already we have boots, we have the cane, we have the gold sword.
Yeah, not even Dark World access, we've got the Butter Sword. That's kind of bonkers.
Wow.
Bombs on Hylia Island.
More bombs.
Leslie's heading over to talk to the hobo while Will gets the bomb jump that Leslie had successfully completed earlier. It's a nice little skip. It prevents you from having to go all the way around back up to the entrance to this cave.
We'll be seeing his bombs and we'll be receiving his gold sword shortly.
Oh, no, big 20 from the hobo too. This is just a 20 heavy seed. We gotta be running low on those by this point.
Absolutely, our runners are already closing in on that 1,000 rupee mark.
Yeah, don't think any issues will be had for money for the rest of this seed. I'm quite positive both are already above the required amount for everything.
Definitely. I believe you need about 800 rupees to comfortably afford everything in the game between the Zora Tech bottle vendor as well as the plethora of chance games throughout the world. As we find the single arrow, of which only one is in the game.
It's just such a heart sink when you see that thing. Oh, cool, one arrow. What a waste of time.
Thanks, game.
Cool, I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, Will's taking the alternate route up to Zora. rather than taking the shortcut through the whirlpool, as Leslie has done, he's just gonna go the intended route. May have forgotten he got those flippers. Rip-off artist just given a bomb upgrade. Nothing up there.
Meanwhile, Will is going to get his single arrow, which is his favorite item. So he'll be happy to.
Happy to see the lone arrow that many in the community lovingly call it the final arrow that finishes Ganon off. Keep it in your quiver to the end. And we got Leslie making the Aghanim play. I can't blame him for it. The only other place I'm pretty sure he can check right now is Agina, and that's either way going to be necessary to come up here. There's at least 2 items left for Dark Lord.
That is correct. Now, I did call a very evil seed, but so far it's... I'm kind of starting to worry at this point. Now, luckily I did not generate the seed, so I cannot be held responsible. Meanwhile...
yeah, Will still has... It looks like he's heading to Agina, but he does still have like Lake Hylia to check and the hobo himself.
Oh yes, he did skip that by going for the potion chopping.
All right. Well, after 31 and a bit minutes here, we've finally got some divergence, at least for now, anyway. As we see what Agina has. I gotta take a guess at 20 rupees.
I mean, that seems...
At this point, it seems unlikely, but also very likely because every chest has it. Just 10 arrows. Oof.
He's checking his inventory to make sure that he can't do anything else.
Yeah, I think he's making sure he doesn't have the book or a way in there.
Yeah, and of course making sure that Aghanim is the absolute last option, as it is something that runners would rather not do.
No, and I can't blame him for making the Agina play. It's like we were talking about earlier, it's one of those Sphere 1 items where it's got a 16% chance of progression in any given seed, so unfortunate, but not a bad play at all. Leslie makes his way up to Agina. Nope, not Agina. Aghanim. The other egg guy.
They're both dressed in green, I think. Wait, is Agina? I don't even know.
Yep, they're both wearing green cloaks.
I mean, does that mean that Link is related to Agina?
You know what? He could be. It's a hand-me-down from his Uncle Agina. And Will picking up his cane of Burna. A little bit of safety and...
Definitely not a bad choice.
But now looks like he's gonna bite the bullet and climb the tower.
Yes, Leslie pulling on the Will to reduce a little bit of lag during the lightning phase. Now, every first attack will be an energy ball, but anything after that is pretty much a 50-50 or a blue ball, which cannot be reflected, and an energy ball.
Wow, that was pretty generous egg there. I only saw 1 blue ball. I don't know if there were more and I missed them, but it's pretty nice. And the bunny. We get to see the bunny again. He's cute.
And has the best music. As we find the book, still no Dark Will access.
There's the book.
Progression lies in desert.
Wow.
Holy tablets, we have gotten the level 4 sword, so we have more than enough to at least get the ether tablet. And
yep, there could be nothing in desert. You know, with it being in one of our pendants, You gotta think they're kind of annoyed to see the book here rather than an actual straight progression item like the Moon Pearl. Yes, and as chat points out, the reason Leslie mirrored there before saving and quitting is once you kill Aghanim, and you have the mirror, which our runners both do, if you save and quit in the Dark World, you aren't put back to the the menu screen. You're put back into the game on top of the Dark World castle where you get spit out after you defeat Aghanim. It's very much a pain. And something I constantly forget in my own seats, but Leslie obviously remembered.
Yeah, definitely. Beating Aghanim is one of the more uncommon occurrences. Starport is usually easily obtained, but as we are seeing here, we still have not found either the hammer or another glove upgrade, and more importantly, that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, Moon Pearl being this elusive is pretty uncommon. 35 minutes, no Moon Pearl yet.
It's quite remarkable indeed, as Leslie does find out that Desert is boots required. Thankfully, they did already pick that up.
Yeah, that's lucky. Will heading up into Aghanim here.
We'll be getting exactly the same amount of blue balls that Leslie got, so that none of the runners will gain an unfair advantage in terms of time.
Yes, precisely. While the balls are randomized, they are the same count seat to seat. As long as Will doesn't miss anything, he'll be just as quick.
Yes, and that also only applies to the initial fight. If you happen to take a death and enter again, the pattern is completely random. Getting a little too close to Aghanim there as we find Quake in the vanilla Vicky chest in Desert.
Yeah, that's Quake, and then we found a heart piece, so that's all the items in Desert. It's gonna be very interesting to see what Leslie does now.
Now, not having checked Agina's cave, I believe that is what we're see here, but other than that, pretty much Ether Tablet will be our progression.
Yeah, I can't think of anywhere else they can check. Oh my gosh, that pink bunny is adorable.
Oh wow. And as you mentioned, when Will selects his file will be spat out on the Pyramid of Power, as we do get a Dark World map check as well from Will's side.
Yeah, and that's why you got a mirror before you save and quit. Now, Will can make up a lot of time here if he checks Ether, but I mean, chances are he's going to head up to Desert first. Looks
yes,
like
two items compared to only the one item. Definitely is mathematically the better choice. As we turn into the bunny for a third time, which is pretty rare to see in and of itself to even become a bunny due to the effects of the Dark World.
There she is, the Moon Pearl sitting on Ether Tablet. After 38.5 minutes, we finally got Dark World access. One of the longest Dark World accesses I've ever seen.
Actually, the only access to Dark World is going to be via the Hyrule Castle Gate.
Yeah, definitely not the most convenient Dark World access in the world.
But that does lead us towards the Catfish, as well as the Pass of Darkness.
It does. And with the hook shot, it'll let them get to the west side as well.
Yes, I always forget that. Which is why I
Yeah.
don't run this game.
It's a big way around, but it's doable.
Yes, thankfully, A Link to the Past, a very modular game, if you will, being able to reach places with a variety of item setups lends itself very well to the to an item randomizer.
That
charging up north to visit the catfish, picks up the bush from the ledge and then leaps down, which will reset your movement speed.
Yeah, it's something I don't see very many people do. I personally do all the time. Catfish just being a big...
Another one.
A big 20 ripoff. Oh, man.
Wow.
We gotta be running out of those at this point. Ooh, and Leslie's gotta be careful here. I just noticed down to 1 heart. Anything touches him and he's heading back.
Yeah, at this point I would almost say that a save and quit would be the safer option, as that will refill your hearts.
Yeah, that's scary. And it looks like he is gonna head over to the east side.
Definitely more items than in Palace of Darkness, and of course with Pod being only a pendant, definitely devalues. Actually, we'll get a Northern Graveyard check as well as the King's Tomb. Oops. Please bear with us as we are resolving. We will do our best to keep on casting.
Yeah, we'll just be a couple minutes behind, but looks like Leslie's...
There we find the hammer.
Back.
Oh.
And the hammer. What a
wow.
Nice, quick check for Leslie to get up there. That's... You gotta be feeling good about that.
Sorry for the slight delay. We should be back on track though, but Leslie, unfortunately, mirroring a little bit too low on the stairs, did manage to clip through the wall to enter the cave, but unfortunately miss his portal. But with that hammer, that does not matter, as he can just use the Paprika portal.
Yep, really lucky hammer pickup considering where that portal was placed. They would have had to make a long trip back to where it was.
And to answer a concern in chat, the reason that King's Tomb was not checked is because they don't have the Dynasmiths to lift the rock. Although they can reach it by going to the Dark World, Leslie unfortunately misplaced his portal so that he could not enter it once he collected his hammer.
That is correct. Yeah, most likely he was planning to check it, but couldn't quite get to that portal. Will making the same Dark World play that Leslie did just a moment ago.
Debating whether or not to go north or south. Does the Village of the Outcast does have more items, 3 unique items, as well as the entirety of Thieves Town.
Oh, Fairy playing keep away. There he gets it. Oh, look at that.
Another
chess game had 20 rupees. Shocking.
Oh my.
Hey, there's a flute. Really nice place for that. We'll just be able to mirror out and get it activated while you're in Kakariko here already.
Very convenient indeed. Of course, does not unlock anything at the moment, but eventually we will need that for the Misery Mire dungeon.
Very true, very true. But we're looking for those golden gloves beforehand.
Thieves Town, 4 chests in the front part, will always contain the big key in order to reach the back part, but still has the potential to have 3 unique items.
Yep, and with 2 of those checked, we're down to potential 2. As Will is also choosing a hookshot across. So he should find his hammer shortly. There's a little bit of love in the... I believe that's the vanilla small key chest. I could be wrong. I'm using check King's Tomb as well. Something we never got to see when Leslie went through.
Definitely, if the Titans mints end up being here, it might take a while for Leslie to come back to this.
Yeah, it's pretty out of the way, but lucky for him, just a little bit of love.
Meanwhile, Leslie is opting to take the immediate dive into the remainder of Thief's Stand. Of course, with the Gold Sword, pretty much anything dies instantly.
Yeah, Gold Sword's really nice to have here. Unfortunately, the sword upgrades won't matter against the boss. This is the only boss in the game where he can be attacked by a variety of weapons, swords, hammers, Cane of Samaria, but all of them only do a single damage. And he takes 9 hits no matter what. So level 1 sword or this max level 4 sword, it's still going to take 9 hits. Will picking up his hammer. And opting not to check Bumper Cave, but heading up to Skull Woods. The front half of Skull Woods, easily checkable, and a lot of runners kind of deem it overworld as it's pretty quick and right on, kind of on the way to the Village of Outcasts. But as of now, this dungeon is not quite clearable. You do need the Fire Rod to get access to the back half.
That is true. Only 2 items, only 2 unique items to find here, but again, within the randomizer, anything could be here, including Fire Rod.
Yeah, and you know what? The last week of this tournament, there were a lot of vanilla Fire Rods popping up in the big chest of Skull Woods, that chest right there.
Yes, in fact, in one of my last seeds, I had Fire Rod in Skull Woods, and I forgot that I hadn't checked one of the chests, so that was a nice 3-hour seed.
Leslie not noticing he hadn't picked up the small key, and the small key's locked in that door.
Oh, thinks he might have made a mistake, but that is a new feature within the randomizer where items can be self-locked. And what I mean by that is, for example, the Thief's Stand big chest requires 1 small key to get to. Now, if that small key were to be in the big chest, that would mean that you still had access to all of the rest of the dungeon, so therefore it is valid. Now, of course, you could open the key by open that door by getting the key from upstairs and then going all the way downstairs, but nobody does that.
Nope, and it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense too. As long as it only locks itself, it's fair game. So there's a few chests that are similar, but Thieves' Town I think is the most infamous one. Leslie fighting blind here now. He's got to be a little careful. Didn't pick up that Cane of Brine, so doesn't have a lot of safeties. He is going to release the bee, which doesn't actually do anything to blind. Oh!
Right before the last hit.
That's unlucky. Takes the death. But with the heart refill, he's gonna just head straight back in, give it another go. With about twice as much health, if not a little more than twice as much health than over the first time. Will finishing up his Skull Woods dip. He did find both items in the dungeon, but both were nothing too exciting. I think a 50 rupee upgrade as well.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I run this. Got to be pretty sick of finding money.
And he picks up his flute. Yes, the bee can chase off one of Blind's heads, but it's a pretty uncommon occurrence and very difficult to upgrade. It was a good call. It was smart to try to pull it off. And there's the flute.
Definitely. Now, there is an advantage to having the gold sword for the blind fight, as it is a little bit longer than the master sword.
That's true, and Leslie finishing blind off, no problem this time. Just a triplet of bombs.
And more importantly, that crystal.
Really clutch kill there with 1 heart remaining.
Yeah, blind, when you get off script by either missing the perfect setup or as you saw on Leslie's side, unfortunately dying, that will spawn blind already active at the top of the room. So that does make it a little bit more tricky. By the way, Leslie picking up his fire rod inside of the brewery.
I believe that was the ice rod.
Did I say fire rod?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
fire
it was
rod
ice rod indeed. Which, not quite as useful as the fire rod, but will be required this seed with the Turtle Rock being a pendant. The only thing it's required for is killing Trinex, the final boss of Turtle Rock. And it can be one of those really trolly items, because it can be literally anywhere other than Ganon's Tower or on Trident.
It's indeed a very nice rod. As we find an arrow upgrade on the Ding game.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin just throwing some arrows. Leslie wants to go back, but without the golden gloves, can't quite pick that big heavy rock up.
Still a little bit too heavy.
He's gonna go get his Cane of Burna, it looks like, or activate his flute. Oh, he forgot to activate his flute.
That'd be given a little bit of trouble. Unfortunately, not having the Bucknet will not be replacing the one he expended. Meanwhile, Will onto the D-stand attic. We'll be bombing a hole in the floor in order to let lights into the boss room, which will trigger Blind's transformation.
Yeah, gotta remember to blow that thing up. Now those little green bug thingies crawling around hurt really bad with green mail. I believe doing 3 hearts of damage. Not the most fun.
No, they are definitely one of the more damaging like minor enemies.
Yeah, no mail upgrades at this point. While they do have a lot of hearts, no mail upgrades means those hearts are gonna diminish pretty quickly. And Leslie heading up for Skull Woods. Racers both covering each other's tracks.
Definitely minimal route divergence, but after this, it is pretty much going to be... Well, they're going to have to go into Palace of Darkness at this point. Unless...
Yep, I think Swamp is available also. Which may be a little more juicy. There's an extra item and it's a pendant. I mean, crystal, not a pendant, unlike Pod, which is a pendant.
That is true, yeah, we did find the flippers as well. Meanwhile, Will into the blind fights.
Gets his first cycle. Solid second cycle. One last try. While dodging the bullet hell that is those heads. No problem at all. Picks up his bomb and his third crystal. Right behind Leslie.
This is definitely looking out to be a very close race. Leslie is going to be checking out the big key chest via the developer intended route.
Yeah, if you're coming down from that way, it's more or less just as quick to do it this way rather than bomb jumping.
Meanwhile, Will is going to be picking up his ice rod. Make sure to get that correct.
Oh, looks like we've got a pedestal check coming up.
Ooh, this could be huge if there is something on the pedestal, and Will, having cleared out Skull Woods, will probably not go back there until he has the fire rod.
Yeah, this little bit of knowledge, if it's something, could really turn the tide for Leslie here. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit of
Just a piece of pass.
The pet is dead. Meanwhile, Tropical Wiggler here, hoping for a mushroom into shovel into powder into fire rod. That's just me.
Well, with that, I believe that it will be mushroom into fire rod, as a little glitch has been found within the randomizer where you can mimic the effects of the powder item by using the Canis Maria and the mushroom combo.
Yeah, as long as the runners know the trick, it's definitely doable. It's certainly one of the easier ones. Will finding his, I believe, third bottle in Cave 45, doing the South Dark Hyrule check. And Leslie dipping into Swamp with those flippers and mirror and hook shot. Man, that dungeon has a lot of requirements.
Yeah, and it is a big one. At 6 unique items, it is the biggest in the game, on par with Turtle Rock if you count the Mimic Cave.
Yeah, a lot of runners like putting off Swamp as long as they can. I like it. I think it's one of the more fun dungeons to do. Ooh, Will doing Hype Cave here, though. 5 items in this small little cave. Could be huge. The red boomerang.
A nice item to find, although not required for anything.
Blue mail, that's gotta be nice.
That's
Ether.
our first mail.
Nice.
And to top it off, even more of that.
So much cash. Not a bad hype cave. If that ether medallion's required, then it's pretty hype. But we won't know until we visit Turtle Rock and Misery Mire.
Meanwhile, Will going to blindly check the Lake Hylia item.
Just some bombs.